Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Hope you are in good health and ready for our presentation today. As you can see, our group consists of two members, Sister Nadia and me, myself, Sister Anis. And for our poster presentations, we have decided to cover the topic simile under Chapter 9 of Form 1 KSSM syllabus. The reason being is, during our earlier discussion, we found out that most researchers suggest that TESL teachers tend to spend little time teaching figurative language in favor of other important aspects of language learning. However, we believe that teaching figurative language such as simile can be a fun learning experience to all and may even encourage our students to be more expressive in terms of creativity in writing. Hence, today's presentations will be including a poster that our group had personally designed, as well as two lesson plans on how to integrate the poster during both physical and virtual classes. It is our hope then that today's presentation will serve as a good example on how poster can be a great addition to the classroom learning material and how textbook syllabus can be adapted outside its traditional form. Without further ado, I pass the button to Sister Nadia so that she can walk you through all the materials we have prepared for today's presentation.
Thank you so much, Anish, for the introduction now. I'll be sharing the slides on the screen to make it easier for you to see our prepared materials. First, we have the poster itself, this one, which we designed using the application called Canva. It is a well-known yet free application, readily accessible via the internet and offer hundreds of templates that you can utilize in designing any graphic-based material. As you can see now, our poster on simile had a few sections within it, covering points such as its definition, if you can see here, its definition, and also the importance in writing, few examples of the similes itself, and also how to differentiate between the simile and metaphor. Why we put the differences between simile and metaphor is because students always tend to confuse and between one another.
I must say, looking at it now, as a group, we are pleasantly satisfied with the end product. We have tried our best to include images and icons that may attract students' attention instead of filling the poster with words only. We also try to use a variety of colors, as you can see here, to set different sections apart, as well as using simple font with appropriate sizes, which also work to add into the overall attractiveness of the poster. Throughout the designing process, we realized that the advancements of technology really benefited us in a way that we now have this easy access to great platforms such as Canva that makes the whole process of designing learning materials hassle-free. I also think that as future teachers, we have tried our best to squeeze every little details without overcrowding the poster, right, Nadia?
Yes, I sure hope so. And it's now that they have seen the poster, they must be wondering how this poster can be integrated in the classroom teaching and learning, right? Allow me to show you our lesson plan on teaching simile. We have prepared two versions of it for your reference. Okay, before I go through the lesson plan itself, I would like to explain to everyone the suitability of the content itself. Okay, basically our poster suit for Form 1 student in intermediate and advanced level, and the duration for the lesson plan is only for 1 hour lesson. And for the language skills, we focus on the writing, but it also can suit with the listening, speaking, and reading activities too. And our language focus, of course, simile. And I would like to explain our general objective for this lesson plan. Okay, by the end of Form 1, students should be able to demonstrate the use of simile correctly in their writing. As for the learning outcomes, at the end of the lesson, students should be able to explain the function of simile in writing and also demonstrate the correct use of simile in writing. Okay, now we're moving forward to the lesson plan itself. Okay, for the first one, as I said just now, we are preparing two versions of the lesson plan. Okay, for the first one is the integration of the lesson of the poster in lesson plan in physical class. Okay, right now, imagine that you have in this lesson plan that you are going to teach. Okay, for example, in the pre-lesson, what the teacher will be doing is teacher showed a short video about a simile and asked students, what is simile? Can you share some example of simile based on the video? And teacher also can ask the student that if they know any other similes. And this is the examples of the video that you can download or you can see in the YouTube. So as a teacher, you don't have to worry if you don't have any reference, because you can just go to the YouTube and find any suitable video for similes, right, Anis?
Yes, true, Nadia. I agree with that.
Then, as for the lesson development, teacher gets students into pairs and give each pair 10 minutes to discuss the similes in writing a story. Few pairs will be randomly selected to share their stories with the class. And then after that, teacher will ask the students to relate the function of similes with importance of science and technology. For example, the production of video and poster itself. Okay, what is the purpose of teacher ask the student to relate this the simile with the science and technology? This is because it can help to stimulate students' imagination by using the visual imaginary, and it also can help the student to express their emotions in a creative way. Other than that, it also works as attention getter. And next, then teacher pastes the poster at the whiteboard and elaborate the content of the poster thoroughly. The content of the poster will be include the definition of simile, its significance in writing, and also few examples and how to differentiate between the simile and metaphor. And next, we're moving on to the post lesson, which the teacher asks the students to form a group of 4 people and give each group about 10 minutes to come up with 5 sentences based on the examples of simile in the poster. They may use also other similes that they have known before, they have learned before. Teacher calls the group representative to write 2 of their answers on the whiteboard. Then teacher will check if the answer is correct or not, and teacher will provide explanation for the wrong answer so that they will get a clear and understanding about the topic. As for the closure, teacher will restate the contents to make sure that the students fully understand, and teacher will emphasize the importance of science and technology. Okay, that is for the physical class.
As Nadia, considering that our current situations has forced most of us to opt for online learning, is there any way that we can adapt this lesson plan to suit the virtual learning environment?
Yeah, sure. When there's a wheel, of course there's a way. Let me share a lesson plan that has been improvised to suit the virtual environment using the same learning materials. Okay, give me a minute, because sometimes using gadgets
It's okay.
make us. Okay, this is the lesson plan that we prepared for the virtual class. Okay, basically it's the same as the physical class, but there's a few changes in it. Okay, for the pre-lesson, basically it's just the same, where teacher show a short video about simile and ask the student what is the simile, and ask them to share a few examples that they know, and if they know any other simile that they might want to share with the class, right? Okay, and this is another link for the simile videos that teacher can use as their reference in the class. Okay, this is the screen capture that I took from YouTube actually. So it's quite interesting to attract the students' attention actually. And then for the lesson development, teacher will give a student 5 minutes to think of the function of similes in writing, and few students will be randomly selected using the online wheels of name to share their answer with the class. Then, teacher asks the students to relate the function of similes with importance of science and technology. Same like before in the physical class, this is basically to stimulate students' imagination, to let the student express their emotion, and also works as the attention getter. It's basically the same. After that, the teacher shared the poster on the screen and elaborate the content of the poster thoroughly. The content of the poster, same as before, includes the definition of simile, significance in writing also, and also a few examples and how to differentiate between simile and metaphor. As the post lesson, teacher asked students to come up with 3 sentences based on the example on the simile in the poster. Basically the same. They also might use any similes that they know, and students must then write their answers in the chat box or Google form. Okay, this is where the changes happen because it is online virtual class, so we cannot have access to the student one-on-one, right? So the platform that we can use is Google Form. So the student have to write their answer in the Google Form, or the teacher can share the link to the Google Form in the WhatsApp group or the Telegram group. Okay, then teacher selects few from the answers to be read aloud and pinpoint which of the answers are right or wrong. And for sure, teacher will provide reason for every answer so that student will understand easily. Okay, and as for the closure, teacher will restate the contents and then re-emphasize the importance of science and technology and remind the students to revise the lesson by looking at the poster that will be shared to the class WhatsApp. This is very important because, you know, when we don't have access to the student like one-on-one, right, Anis, the student, we don't know what
Yes,
they
true.
might be doing behind us. To ensure
Yes,
that the
also,
process will go smoothly, teacher always need to remind the student.
yes,
Uh,
true. And also by giving them like a copy of it, a soft copy of it, at least you can ensure that students will have will have like supplementary materials outside the textbook that they can refer to every time they wanted to remember about simile. Which is of course like this is not possible in physical classes because to cater for a lot of students and give out poster is not practical, right? So this is only applicable to the virtual classroom. And I also would like to add on with what Sister Nadia had said that you might some teachers might wonder like, oh, but if I share videos in the earlier part of my classes, some of my students might be struggling with their internet connections. But don't worry, because most of our video, the link that we had attached, is mostly less than 5 minutes and wouldn't consume much of your internet connection if that's what you worries about. And if you still cannot afford to like play the video, perhaps you can find other alternatives that just to serve as part of the side inductions. This is just like suggestions from us for the lesson plans. And as explained, by Sister Nadia with slight modifications on the lesson plan, you can see that the poster can be used in both physical and online classes. So I'm sure hoping that Nadia's explanations has made it clearer for you on how our group poster on simile can be a great learning material for Form 1 KSSM students, apart from having the textbook as their main reference, of course. Oh, before we end our presentation, is there anything else you want to add, Nadia?
Not much, Anis. Actually, I want to share one word, which is that when there's a way, there's a way. What I would like to emphasize this because when we cannot have a physical class, we have another option, which is virtual class.